Nice. Well, first of all, huge thank you to Serial, of course, who's hosting this and who's helping me so much with the technical issues and all the IT challenges, which I'm really bad at. He's made this live stream possible and helped me, enabled me to also share some videos with you guys. Man, I have to say, it's the first time I'm doing this live stream where it's just me being streamed. You know, I don't have an interviewer or anyone guiding me through this. And now we have about an hour of me just answering questions that people have sent me in comments and in messages. And a lot of questions actually about free soloing. Funny questions, some rather deep questions, personal questions. I hope we can get through all of them. Yeah, and also Serial offered to forward questions. You can actually post questions in the comments of this live stream. You're very much encouraged to. You can right now feel free to comment anything on the live stream, and then Serial can give me an overview of like where people are watching from and who's there and what they want to know. And I don't know, but I can't watch the live stream itself on my computer because that messes with the connection like crazy. So bear with me. We're almost about to start with interesting things. Preparation talk is almost over. Give me some time to warm up, to break the ice. Okay, I'm kind of nervous. I need to warm up in this. All right. So, how's it going, everyone? Now I'm just imagining you all said, good, very good, not so good, all good. So I'm just going to start right now with the question. So first of all, I should say my name is Friedi Kühne. I'm a Slackliner, professional Slackliner and very passionate highliner from Germany. And my lockdown series talk with ISA will be about free solo highlining, or to be more specific, about the questions that you guys have on my experience with free solo highlining. Alright, so I have the first feedback. So, what's up, Bor? Bor from Poland is watching the live stream. I'm really glad he is. That's awesome. I'm just gonna start with whatever feedback I'm getting from you guys, because that's helping me to break the ice, warm up, and feel more comfortable. It's so strange to talk just to a camera. So thanks for watching, Bor. Bor is an amazing fitness, calisthenics personal trainer who has helped me and Lucas a lot with some training issues, training questions that we had for our slackline progression. The first question in the comments is question from Vali, and also this guy is obviously from Germany, because that's a Bavarian name. Question: are you a smoker? Cigarettes and dope? Oh no, I absolutely don't smoke. I very occasionally, maybe a few times every year, I smoke weed because I love weed, but I prefer to vaporize it or to eat it. Edibles, pills and whatnot. I try to get as little toxic things, and that's definitely smoke in my lungs, into my body, as I can. So I definitely don't smoke cigarettes. And but yeah, weed is awesome from time to time. Oh, he's from Austria. Well, so Vali is from Austria. Why is your nickname? Well, I guess that's Austrian dialect too. Austrian and Bavarian German are similar-ish. The next question is from Augustine Moina from France. Are you nervous when you're going on a free solo? Well, yes, I am a little bit nervous beforehand, for sure. I want to point out that it's not, like if the nervousness takes overhand, it's as if it's really straight up fear and you're shaking. When you're so nervous that you will tense up and cramp up, then you can't perform. Then you definitely can't slackline. Slacklining is about balancing, about relaxing and, not being nervous. So I'm definitely nervous before a free solo, a little bit, but it's, it's like just the perfect amount of nervousness where it makes you more alert, more focused, but it doesn't make you shiver with fear yet. I hope that answers your question. And the same guy is asking, have I ever done a naked free solo? Yes, I've done a bunch of naked free solos. That's for sure. And mostly short highlines, naked free solo. And I like to say that, or I like to make the joke that only naked free solo is really naked, right? Because a lot of people have highlined naked, but they were still wearing a harness, so they weren't really all that naked, were they? Anyway, I really like this, answering the first questions on the YouTube live stream in the questions and comment helps me a lot to warm up and to break the ice of this weird talk that I have with just the camera, even though a lot of people are watching. Many people are watching, by the way. Do I bring 2 pairs of underwear when I free solo? So I guess that's it's kind of along the lines of, do I shit my pants when I free solo? Well, like I just said, if I'm too nervous, aka too scared, so scared that I would shit my pants, then I wouldn't do it. It just doesn't work. You can't be afraid when you free solo, then you can't do it. It's not the point at all. You need to have perfect control of both your body and your emotions, and that includes fear. So I only bring, if at all, I bring 1 pair of underwear, sometimes none. Nice, 27 people watching at the moment. There's some other people. I want to make it, like 30, 40 or so. That would really mean the world to me. Thank you for watching, guys, from wherever you are. It's really awesome. I'm also going to back this up with a few little videos here in a moment. Right now I'm going to go through the questions that you're posting live, so I really can, cater to those people watching and answer their questions. And then I'm going to go to eventually I'm going to move on to the questions that people have sent me beforehand or commented on the Facebook posts, and I've backed up those questions with a couple of videos that I'm going to show you in a little bit. Are we allowed to only ask? No, you can ask anything, but this is supposed to be about free solo highlining. But for sure, you're definitely encouraged to ask me anything. Remember, there's 27 people watching, so ask me something where you think, okay, this could be interesting for slackliners. At least make it slackline relevant. Don't ask me something stupid or what I ate yesterday. Just ask whatever you think won't bore the other 26 people to death. So Bor from Poland is asking, do I have the possible thought of death in my mind before free soloing? And what are my feelings about death in general? It's a very deep question. Someone else has asked about the idea of dying too before the comments. I definitely, right now I'm thinking, right now I'm thinking about dying because I read about it, so automatically this thought pops up in my head. And when I free solo, I don't usually think about falling off the line or dying. That doesn't mean that the thought is never there. It might pop up in my head for a moment, but it's something extremely theoretical. It's something, something that I think of an only theoretical, hypothetical outcome. I don't really think of it as a realistic option, otherwise I wouldn't go. Once again, if you're scared of dying, you cannot and you should really not free solo highline. It doesn't really work that way. You need to work on your emotions, and also that also includes you need to work on what you visualize and what you imagine during your performance. What are my thoughts, my feelings about death in general? Well, man, that's super deep. I'm gonna try to answer it somewhat in a short form. My feelings about death are that it's completely inevitable and natural. So everybody has to accept that they are going to die one day, 100%. All we can do is, die as late as possible, if that's your goal, and make the time you have until then worth your while. So, enjoy your life until you die and try not to die for as long as you can. So most people will live a happy and long life and then die of a natural death in their 80s, 90s, or whatever. And that's how I see it too. So, of course, what we do can be considered dangerous to our lives, and have unfortunately been slackline related or highline related deaths. And it's not completely crazy to think that free soloing can be death related too. Of course, it at first glance it looks like a very dangerous activity, and of course, if you fall off a highline that's pretty high, then you're going to die. But the same as in all other aspects of life, you're doing everything you possibly can to not die, not fall off the highline. So it's completely up to you to practice to perfection, to be at the height of your senses, to be perfectly aware and whatnot, to reduce the risk of falling and then eventually dying. It sounds crazy. I've never used the word die or death this much. I've never talked about it that much, but I think later on when we talk about the whole question of why, then we might come back to this. Wow. I hope this answers your question for now, Bor. Just for now. Wow, I'm getting so many questions. This is awesome. Next step, free solo blindfolded from Eroshenko Alexei. Well, I have not free solo blindfolded yet, but I have closed my eyes for like 1 or 2 seconds just for the feeling. But free soloing blindfolded, it could be a next step for some people. Not for me. I don't really like that idea. I want to be able to perfectly catch the line at any moment. I definitely want to be able to see the line. Also, I love blindfolded highlining with a leash, but I feel like blindfolding yourself, it takes away from some of the experience of highlining, and then it'll also take away some of the experience that I'm seeking in free solo highlining. So I like to have my eyes open, especially when I'm free soloing, just to suck in all of the experience and to stay aware of what's going on. I'm levitating, maybe several hundred meters high in the air, and it's just this small piece of webbing between me and the abyss and death below me. So I want to see that. I want to stay aware, which means I want to keep using all my senses. So I don't think I'm ever going to free solo blindfold it. I hope that also answers your question, Guillaume Fontaine, who asked me before this if I've ever closed my eyes on a solo. I have, but only for 1 or 2 seconds. Jonas, is free soloing the ultimate form of highlining for you? Yes, it is. I have to say that for me personally, it's the highest and purest form of highlining, which that does not at all mean that it's something that everybody should strive towards. It's not even my ultimate. It's not even the form of highlining where I see the most progression or potential, or it for me. It's definitely the purest form of highlining. That's also how Andy just described it in a video that he just posted, where he free soloed a highline. And I think pure is something that many people would call it. Would also call it the most natural form of highlining. It's just a form of a form of highlining where you take 100% responsibility. I think that's what it feels like to me. Again, I would like to point out that highlining with a safety leash is fucking amazing. It's definitely the most it's the most versatile form of highlining. It's the one approach where it's a standard form of highlining for a reason. It's because that's where people will be safe, and that's where people will progress, and where people can safely make all these amazing balancing experience their fear of heights and whatnot, and really progress. Because of course, in order to progress, you need room for error, and in free soloing, you don't have room for error. So let's just finish by saying that leashed highlining is the standard form of highlining, and it's good that way. It has to be that way, absolutely. I don't recommend free soloing to anyone. That being said, I free solo personally because to me personally, it's the purest, most natural, joyful form of slacklining. For other people, highlining with a leash, freestyling, blindfold highlining, tandem highlining might be the purest, highest form for them. It's amazing, and that's how it should be. You have to figure out what's best for yourself. We're all individuals with our own responsibility for our lives. So Buddy is asking, what are the best things to get better at longlining and highlining? Man, it's the same as in every sport. You have to practice. Just practice your ass off. Longlining whenever you can. Go highlining whenever you can. Highlining, of course, if you're good at longlining, can be very beneficial for highlining, especially walking bigger lines. When there's more movement in the line. Longlining will increase your control, mostly your physical control. Of course, highlining is also a mental challenge. You can also only grow mentally if you practice. So if you have fear of heights, if that's your main challenge in highlining, then you just have to expose yourself to that fear of heights. Try again and again and again. Climbing can also help your highline game, of course, both physically and mentally. This is a nice comment. The idea from Michael Seemann, or Michael Seemann. The idea is to die young, very late. I absolutely agree. I don't want to die, for as long as possible. I totally want to grow as old as possible. But until then, I also want to enjoy life as much as possible. So it's both about quantity and quality, I would say. Dying young, very late. Yes, you should stay young as long as you can and die as late as you can. Agustin is asking me, would you free solo on a sketchy rig, like one of those no leash fall lines that Andy has rigged sometimes? Because I know exactly what you mean, because maybe a boulder is shifting, maybe the highline has big no falls, or maybe the sling is touching some rock or whatever. I've actually been in that exact situation. I have highlined with Andy and Spencer somewhere around Moab 2 years ago. It was a line which I think describes exactly what you just mentioned. Kind of a sketchy rig. Sling was like kind of a no leash fall highline. It had a backup. It was anchored to some solid bolts and so on and so on. But it wasn't. Let's say it wasn't a perfect rig. The sling was. I remember now. The sling was going over a piece of wood that we used kind of as an A-frame, and that piece of wood moved. So, it was, I would say it was safe to leash fall on because everything was backed up. But the rig was sketchy in the sense that it wasn't perfectly predictable. It moved a little bit on this little piece of wood. And Andy soloed it, which is cool. He absolutely did not solo it. Walked in with a leash, because it was backed up, it was fine. Everything was padded, but there was this little bit of, unpredictable movement that I had nothing or very little to do with, this little moving piece of wood, so I didn't want to solo that. Blah, 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 because with or without the leash is basically the same. No, it's absolutely not the same, because if you're wearing a leash, your backup makes sense. If you're not wearing a leash, it's mainline only, basically, because you could never, or you could most likely not catch a backup. Free solo tricks, yes. The question is free solo tricks. I know you've done exposure, but that's only a trick because it's different from just walking. What about bouncing? Obviously, when you're free soloing a highline, you have very little room for error. If you're super amazing at catching, maybe you can catch mid-surf or mid-yoda roll. But for me, that's pushing it quite far to the limit of your comfort zone, or of whatever you consider safe for yourself. So I've done free solo exposure turns, which could be considered, like one of the more very basic highline tricks, because I enjoy it so much. Because exposure is amazing. I love looking to the side and feeling the full exposure, all the air around me. And free solo exposure turn is my favorite feeling, because you're already very aware and alert of what's going on and of this very high stake, high responsibility situation. And then free solo turning is just, it just tops it off. It's kind of the icing of the cake. I've seen Andy Lewis free solo surfing, a short line, kind of old school hip only surf. Once again, if you feel like you're really strong at catching, if you know you have the catch, if anything goes wrong, then I think it's fine to do, like these basic kind of tricks during a free solo, but I would never. I don't think I would ever do anything that we see in the modern day freestyle highline videos without a leash. You know, let's say Yoda rolls, or Obi-Wan rocket mount. These tricks, even if you're very good at them, man, they still go wrong from time to time. You know, even the best freestyle highliners in the world, let's say Sam Valery or Lucas or Balok, they whip even on basic tricks sometimes. It happens. It can happen. So it depends, though. You know, like I've walked over 100 meters of free solo, and that can be, for some people, that can be pushing the limit of their control. I guess if you're super amazing at certain tricks, you might be safe enough to do them without more referring to lines where leash fall would potentially create too much force and destroy the anchor. Yeah, I would never free solo a high line where I have any doubt about the anchor at all. I wouldn't do that. Also, I should say at this point, before any free solo, I walk a line with a leash many times, and I also jump into the leash. If I jump into the leash, you know, mid-surf, close to one of the anchors, I really try to load the anchor, to move the anchor to the max while I'm wearing the leash. And then, if nothing happens, if the anchor stays perfectly the same, I feel comfortable enough to free solo. What was Alexander something? Russian letters? Alexander is asking, what was the mental and physical preparation you went through before performing your first free solo? So this goes nicely together with another question that I've had before this. Somebody asked me in the comments before this about my first free soloing ever. So that was in the summer of 2014. There's no video of it. I'll tell you in a moment why there's no video of it. In Ostrov, which is a climbing location in the Czech Republic, nice sandstone towers in a beautiful forest. My first free solo was on a roughly 20 meters long, 20 meters high highline. That was my first, real, legit free solo. I had deep water solo before that. I had even walked super small midlines, like 5, 6, 7 meter tall midlines through, like little ravines in a forest, like really small stuff where if you fell, you wouldn't even die, but you would get really, really injured. And if you fall from, 10, 15 meters high into the water, it'll hurt a lot, but you also most likely won't die. My first legit free solo was 20 meters long, 20 meters high in the Czech Republic, soon 6 years ago. Wow, it's a long time ago. And what was the mental process that I went through before I did this? Well, like I said, I had deep water solo before that, so I really got used to not wearing a leash, but being really high up. I got used to the, somewhat higher consequence of falling into the water from high up, potentially dealing with pain or minor injuries. I've done my very own really funny kind of free solo training before I started free soloing real highlines, where I walked water lines with, for example, all my clothes on. And then eventually I would walk some water lines with maybe my phone in my hand. And then after university, I would go to this little river in Munich and walk a really, really small water line with my clothes on, my backpack full of all my school stuff, like valuable stuff that should never get wet. And this was to increase the pressure and learn how to balance and be okay with the pressure and really become confident of sending, or at least become confident of walking and catching if anything goes wrong. And but this is how I trained myself to become confident enough that I wouldn't fall. It's both physical and mental preparation. If you train physically by walking those lines to perfectioning your catch, and then that'll also be mental preparation. You will feel more and more ready when your body gets more ready. Also, there was one other kind of training I did a while ago with Julian Mittermeier, where we would walk high lines away from the anchor and without seeing the other guy who's standing on the anchor. So the guy waiting at the anchor would shake the high line completely unexpectedly, and the other person would fall into the leash or maybe catch. So that was kind of to simulate, unexpected, unpredictable movements of the line, which you rarely have. We did this in order to see like how quick are our reactions. Can we really catch at any moment? Then we realized that a lot of the times when the other person shook the line behind us, we didn't see when is it going to move, but like sudden movement in the high line. A lot of the times we were able to catch. Sometimes we just fell. If it's mid-step, if you're lifting one foot while you're making a step and the other one is giving the line a huge movement with a 60-meter nylon line, so it was very twitchy to begin with. Then sometimes we would just leash fall. But this is a way how you can increase your catching reflex. You can, of course, if you waterline or deep water solo, all those things can increase your ability to deal with that pressure and to still stay relaxed and keep your balance despite the pressure. Then, of course, there's Swami walking. I feel like we'll get to so many of these parts. I've also done some Swami walks where you would put the leash around your belly rather than wearing a harness, or put the leash around your ankle, famous ankle leash. These are all things that will a lot of pressure on you because they increase the consequence. If you fall on a Swami, it'll hurt like crazy. You might get a really bad injury. But at least you're not going to fall into the abyss to your very certain death. I really hope you're enjoying this. I'm moving through a lot of questions very quickly. There's a lot more questions to come. If you have any constructive criticism, you can also post that under the YouTube live stream and Serial will forward it to me. I'm really happy this is going right now. I feel like I'm warmed up and I'm just talking. I hope it's answering all your questions nicely. So, what about even a back bounce? Back bounce is one of the very basic tricks that can be very safe, but I don't think I would ever do a back bounce on a free solo. It's just like, why do you free solo? Like, it's about enjoying the walk, and I can totally see people doing it. They're very good at freestyle highlining and at certain tricks, but I personally don't want to do many tricks on a free solo. It's more about walking and really, really enjoying and focusing on the moment. Next question is, this is also a question that other people have asked me before, do you meditate often? So I only started meditating a couple of months ago when I did a yoga teacher training in India, kind of a yoga retreat for 1 month, and I really learned more about the meditation techniques, which was really necessary. Because before that, whenever I thought about meditation, I was like, I can't meditate, I can't sit still and focus for minutes, just, like putting my attention inside. But on the other hand, I've realized that what we do, highlining, especially walking big highlines, is already a kind of meditation. Because ideally, you're just focusing on the moment, you're forgetting your surroundings, you're forgetting the future and the past, you're just with yourself, you're breathing steadily. That's definitely something very close to meditation. I think even practicing, walking long highlines or long lines is something very meditative and can have similar benefits for your body and your mind as meditation. Right now, I meditate, maybe once a week, just because I don't have the discipline yet to, sit down and make time for this. Whenever I do meditate, it's usually outside when I'm in a beautiful place in nature, because that's what meditation is for me, is connection with nature, with the universe around me. Sometimes when I'm alone in the mountains or sitting on a beautiful lake, I really like to sit down and meditate for a couple of minutes, and it feels really good. But I'm not doing it too often just yet. Maybe I'll do it more in the future. Why did you decide to start free soloing back then? Do you think you will stop it at some point? Well, never really took a conscious, active decision to start free solo highlining, not even back then. I feel like it just happened. it just happened. I really enjoyed the deep water soloing, and the swami walks, and then I couldn't help it. I couldn't stop it. It just came. It just happened, and when I finally felt ready and saw this line, like I knew that it had to happen. It was kind of inevitable. And in the years later, you could ask, why did I keep doing it after making that experience? Well, I got kind of addicted to it. It felt really good for me. I wanted to do it again and again. I pushed myself because I realized how much growth, mental growth, I got from this. That being said, I'm not going to do it forever. That's a no-brainer for me. Just like most people don't do any sport forever, because they will have to stop at old age physically at some point. I'm going to stop free soloing at some point, and I do think that it's going to be many years before I stop regular highlining with a leash. My plan is to walk highlines with a leash for as long as I can walk upright, hopefully even with 70 or maybe even 80 years old. It's not completely unthinkable. But I will stop free solo highlining long before that. I will just like I felt 6 years ago that I was ready to do it. I'm convinced that I will feel when I'm not ready anymore to do it, and then I will feel that it's good. It has to be stopped, and I'm not going to do it anymore. Might be in a couple of years, might be in 10 years, it might even, it might even be this year. Who knows? I don't think it's going to be this year. But there will be a point when I feel that I've done enough soloing and that I'm not there yet, that I'm not there anymore in the right state of mind, and then I will stop. And I trust myself that I will feel the right moment. Also, if I have children, I'm going to immediately stop. Right now I don't have plans to have children in the near future. I don't know if I ever will, but I also don't know for sure that I won't. But it's a rule that I made for myself that 100%, as soon as a child of mine is on the way, I'm going to stop free soloing, because that's just that much more, responsibility for another life. Whereas now I really think it's my own life only. Love the questions, guys. Keep them coming. I hope you're enjoying this. Don't worry, we'll watch a few short video clips soon. Let's get through a couple more of the live questions, and then we'll go through some videos. Mariana, what's up, Mariana? Mariana, of course, is a favorite famous Slackliner and also freestyle rapper from Canada. What are your fears? What are you actually afraid of? Any phobias? Okay, so I feel like this is... Okay, so not fears during the solo, but my fears in general. So, you know the term FOMO. You know that I have FOMO, Mariana. You've witnessed the FOMO when we were on Highline festivals. FOMO is FOMO. It's short for fear of missing out. So I think I don't know if it's like an actual real phobia, but it's a nice term it's a nice expression that we like to use. FOMO basically means that when you can't sit still, when you always have the fear of missing something amazing, you can't sit still, you're always moving. If you're at a party, you run from one group to the next, try to dance with everyone. I don't know. I kind of had, if that's a phobia, then I kind of have it. That being said, I feel it decreasing. I felt it decreasing the last couple of years. My FOMO is not that bad anymore, but it used to be quite strong. I'm afraid. So when it comes to life in general, I like to think that I'm not too afraid of that many things. Let's say I have very few fears, but those are strong. So I have one very strong fear, which is just the fear of not being happy and not making the best out of the time that's granted to me. And as you can probably see if you watch any of my videos, or if you've listened to this live stream until now, I try to best to not let that fear become reality. I try to do what makes me happy, try to follow my dreams. I also try to share with others, inspire them, be inspired by them, the things that keep me happy, and I don't have to be that scared of not being happy. Also, feel free to, if you have experiences with fear and highlining, even if you have experiences with free soloing, feel feel free to post some comments too, and maybe I'll pick up on it and we can compare our experiences. Augustine is asking, how do you feel about talking publicly about free solo? And I have to answer honestly, man, I feel great about it. I'm talking publicly about free soloing right now. I've done motivational speaking, not only about free solo highlining, but it definitely came up. It's definitely a part of my, it's a part of me in what I've experienced, what I've gone through in life, and it's part of what makes me happy. So I've talked about it a lot in public. Yeah, I enjoy it. I try to point out how much of a personal thing it is. It's not something that I want to encourage others to do, but it's something that has helped me personally because of who I am. And other people, they shouldn't try to also free solo. They need to first of all figure out what it is that makes them happy, and then they should focus on that. And if it happens to be free soloing, if you're really sure that that's what makes you happy, then maybe you should fucking do it. But don't do it because you see how happy it makes other people. You need to find out what makes you happy. That's a lot of stuff right now. I feel like it's gone way beyond the initial question of publicly talking about free solo. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Moved meditation, yes. Slacklining, I definitely think is a form of moved meditation. Nice. Keep them coming, guys. I really enjoy this. Okay. So in the meantime, I'm going to look at some of the questions that I've gotten before the live stream in the comments. Let's see, and I've tried to put them in an order that makes sense. So I've already talked about my first free solo. That was one of the questions. Harry Singer has asked me what's the process you do, for example, before free soloing. Already kind of talked about it. Before I free soloed, before my first free solo, I've walked a bunch of Swami highlines, putting the leash just around your belly, for example. That's my favorite way of doing it. You can also put the leash around your ankle. You can wear a Swami belt. Anything that's, less protection than a full-on climbing harness, and anything that'll increase the consequence and therefore your responsibility of balancing and then catching if anything goes wrong. I've done this, and it has definitely prepared me for free soloing. Same for the deep water soloing. Right now I don't Swami much anymore. I just like to walk a line to perfection and then take the leash off completely. But I have Swamied in the last couple of years. Some clear lines that at the moment I just didn't feel completely ready to free solo them, but I really wanted to Swami them then. La la la. This one guy, I really enjoy the fun questions too, guys. Keep them coming. Stefan Chalkowski from Germany asked me, how can you still walk a 1-inch narrow line with these huge balls of steel? It's awesome. The crazy answer is, you might not expect this, but the answer is, man, I have had my balls amputated become better at slacklining. They were steel, they were very big, my balls were super big, and so I had them amputated. And since then I feel lighter, and that's really when I started breaking through in highlining. Get it? Someone is asking about the Squamish Highline Festival happening this year. Unfortunately, I have no idea. A lot of festivals are being cancelled. I wouldn't bet on Squamish happening this year. If it doesn't happen, check the legal status of highlining and climbing. You might still be allowed to go to Squamish and explore it for yourself. Meet up with some local slackliners, rig highlines. Maybe it'll be legal in August. Just don't do anything illegal. I have my doubts about festivals. Spencer Seabrook would know. Maybe he doesn't know either, but he's a highliner from Squamish. Nice, good logic, good follow-up logic from Augustine. If I've amputated my balls, I'll never be a father, and therefore never stop free soloing. Wrong! Maybe I have frozen some sperm of mine back when I still had balls. Maybe have children later. think of that? Having so much fun. I really hope you guys are having fun too. Let's do some videos that are related to some of the questions that I have gotten before the live stream. Okay, we'll get. So there was some stuff about scariest moments, scariest lines I've walked. I'll get to that later. Let's start with something. Positive. My friend Bine from my hometown, he has asked me what were my favorite free solo walks that I've done so far, where I felt the most joy during the free solo. So I have prepared 2 little video clips of my favorite free solo walks that I've done so far. Interestingly, my favorite, let's say, most joyful in the moment free solo walks that I've done so far, or that I like to remember as such, they were not my 2 free solo world records that I've broken. They were actually, like different lines. Where is this one? So right now, I would like to share with you my free solo walk of the Eichhorn Pinnacle Highline in Yosemite Valley. It's edited without music, original sound. And I'll just show you some scenes of this of that solo walk. That was one of my favorites. Maybe it'll arouse some more questions. This is also my favorite highline of all. So basically, the reason why this is my favorite free solo so far is because this is my favorite. It's hard to pin it down. I have a lot of favorite highlines, but I'm about to show you what might be my favorite highline of all time, just because of its natural surrounding, of how beautiful it is. I'll show you my solo walk of it, and that was an amazing moment. All right, so let's go to screen sharing. I hope this is working. If this is not working, if you can't see a YouTube video right now, please let Sirio in the comments know, and he will let me know. Oh, this was in October 2018. Eichhorn Pinnacle Line is a 65-meter long highline in the high country of Yosemite. So Yosemite, famous valley in the United States, lots of slackline highline history. This is one of the less known highlines. It's only been rigged 3 or 4 times now because it's very hard to get to. You have to hike very far into the high country. You have to climb. Man, I'm so in love with this highline. I rigged it back then with Lucas Irmler, Grant Thompson, Aiden Williams, and Robbie Pitts. Lucas and I walked the line. The other guys were there having fun too. It was amazing. This is me doing the exposure turn to the more exposed side. You should know I'm facing the openness of the valley. I'm not looking at the side where I don't have so much distance. I'm definitely looking at the side where there's more air. A little bit of wind in the camera. I hope you can still hear me. Oh my god, just looking at this line and looking at this free solo walk of this line back then was such an amazing feeling. This line is just out of this world. You can see all around this line is just pure nature. It's very raw and wild. There's no roads, houses, nothing. It's really in the wilderness. Wait, enough of that. Oh, maybe this has aroused some questions. So let's go back to video live stream. That was probably my favorite free solo of all time. There were also others that were like probably as joyful, but this was the one that I thought of when I tried to remember which one was my favorite free solo highlight. Let's see what's happening here. Okay, question in the meantime. Mas Fichter, do you usually take a dump before you free solo? Well, if I have to take a shit, I'm definitely going to take a shit before I walk any highline, whether free solo or not. But if I don't have to, I don't. So I hope you're enlightened now, my friend. Another quick word about this solo of the Eichhorn Pinnacle. 65 meters long. maybe, I don't know, 40, 50 meters. You know, you can't really say exactly how high it is because it's over a, you know, like, very vertical drop underneath the highline is only maybe 30 or 40 meters, but then it goes down like hundreds of meters into the valley. So the straight rock drop would be not so deep, then you would probably tumble forever, and it feels really, really, really exposed. I have to say, honestly, like, the more exposed and high and scary and beautiful a line is, the better it feels for me to free solo it. Like, that's my whole approach. Like, it's something very valuable, where I go more for, you know, quality of the highline rather than quantity of the highline. So free soloing I enjoy more. I have the most fun if I free solo a beautiful line rather than a very long line or very many lines. Something along those lines. So, and then related to the same question was okay, let's answer some more live stream questions. Did you have to walk that line both ways? Let's go back for a second. Jonas is asking, did I have to walk this line both ways? Check it out. Here I start walking. This is the tensioning anchor. Then I walk to the pillar. La-di-da-di-da. I get there. Ooh, that's a nice shot. Those are the very last steps. Oh. I definitely walked without a harness. And I definitely didn't down climb this pillar, so I chilled there for a little bit, and then I walked back. And then I came back. Yes, I walked this line both ways. And, you know, I've done a lot of free solo full mans. Actually, most of the time when I go without a leash, I go both ways. Anything else just seems natural to me. Except for the 2 free solo world records, I think it was always both ways. Yes, those were the only ones where I walked only one way. I was just too pumped afterwards to walk the other direction. I'm just gonna let this play while I answer some more questions from the live stream. Mega Turim says, beautiful man, big balls of steel. Thank you. Thanks a lot, dude. It was a beautiful line for sure. Lauren Cotard is saying, such a good thing about free soloing is that you will never forget the leash ring before attaching the line. Well, that's true. But that being said, I mean, you always walk with a leash before free soloing. If you don't use a leash at all, that's called on-site free soloing, which is a thing. You know, some people have done that, but it's not my approach to free soloing at all. I always walk with a leash many times. Also, you know, like, you rig lines with other people, so multiple people will want to walk the line, so you better put a fucking leash on it because you can't force other people to free solo. So let's go back to live stream. So now you can see me, guys, talking, see me again. Let me know what you think of this video, and if you want to see more, of these videos. Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you, Asirio, once again. I'm receiving all the live comments through him. It's amazing. Thank you. It's very good for me to get feedback. And we'll get to another video in just a moment, because related to the question what my personally favorite free solo highline walk was also the question what my favorite free solo by anyone else was, or, like, let's say my favorite free solo that I've watched. And my favorite free solo that I've watched from anyone else so far was from my good friend. No, actually, I want to show you 2 of them. I want to show you my 2 favorite free solo highline walks by other people. And it would be a lie to say that they haven't inspired me a little bit. So, this one is called Leashless on Bongzilla from Sketchy Andy Lewis. It used to be the free solo highline world record back in the day when 50 meters was considered long. You know, like, fucking 5, 6, 7 years ago. I don't know. It's a long time ago. You can see how tight the line was.
Just mine.
Oh,
I better catch 'cause I'm free
solo. I'm walking solo. I was about to turn off the sound. Maybe I should leave it on.
Free solo, I'm walking solo.
Let's watch Andy Lewis walk free solo over 50-meter long highline. Look at that. It's tight. The line is tight and shaky. It's one of my favorite free solos by anyone else to ever watch. Part of it, why I like this one so much is because of the history. It's called Bongzilla. Andy told me that right before free soloing this 50-meter highline and breaking the free solo world record back then, he took a big bong hit. That's just, I don't know, to me that's just crazy and super funny. It's not something I would do. I don't really smoke weed and combine it with highlining, but I still appreciate weed, and I appreciate the way he named this line. So let's move straight on to the next free solo world record after this. It was taken by Andy Lewis from Spencer Seabrook 1 or 2 years later, whatever. And this might be my favorite free solo video clip to watch from Spencer, breaking the back then free solo record of 60 something meters before I broke it again. And the reason why, just watch this video and let me know in the comments if you like this clip of Spencer soloing as much as I do. No music. Look at that. Catching. This is why I like this video so much, because it shows a free solo highline walk with the option of catching. It looks crazy. It sounds a little bit like this guy is out of his comfort zone and is struggling. Maybe he is for a little bit. But the good thing is that this video really shows that catching is there. Catching is an option in free soloing. And it shows it shows how much commitment Spencer had to put into this walk. And it's also an incredible highline. It's an incredible highline to free solo. It's almost 300 meters high in Squamish. It's insane. It's a beautiful free solo walk. I love watching this. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. And yeah, this was the world record free solo before I broke it, going about 10 meters longer and 100 meters higher a year or so after this. Let's finish it. Sorry that I keep switching the video back and forth. Ooh, yeah, let's watch until the end. Oh my god. He's taking such a big leap at the end of the line, like he's almost jumping off the line, cutting it kind of close there. It's the name of the Spencer game. So I'm gonna switch back so you guys can see me. Let me know what you think of this. I'm gonna try to catch up with some of your live comments and questions now. And those are my two favorite free solo highline walks by someone else. That's not me. La-di-da-di-da. Someone says, I have a question. Do you climb? Yes, man. I rock climb. I love rock climbing, of course. And I've climbed a lot more even before I started highlining. And the same guy is asking, do you think free solo climbing could be considered harder than highlining, or just different? Do you imagine free solo climbing? Okay, let me answer all these questions about climbing and free solo climbing. First of all, I think free solo climbing is harder than free solo highlining. Or, let's say, I think it's more dangerous than free solo highlining. Why? Because in climbing, you can't really catch. In climbing, you have the route. You can climb it. You can potentially down climb it if it's easy enough. You can rest, maybe, but you don't really have the option of catching if you fall. I mean, like, rarely. Maybe you'll be able to hold on to some other hold or land on a ledge, but, that's not typically what happens in climbing. So in highlining, you always have the option of catching. You always have the option of sitting down and chilling. You have the option of shimmying back or even hangovering back if you bring a harness, which I don't usually. But let's just say I feel like there's a tiny bit more room for error in free solo highlining. Of course, if you fall and miss the catch, then it's absolutely guaranteed over. But overall, I think that free solo climbing takes a little bit more commitment. And then, that being said, I have already free solo climbed in the past. Honestly, man, I have done a lot of free solo climbing. But I should point out, it was very, very, very far in, or very much inside my comfort zone of climbing. It wasn't hard climbing, you know. It was I don't know which grading system you're in, but let's say in the German grading system, or no, let's say in the French grading system where you have like 5A, 5B, 5C, 6A, 6B, 6C, and so on and so forth. In the French grading system, they have free solo climbed, I think, if I got it correctly, I free solo climbed routes that were considered, you know, maybe 5As or 5Bs. No, wait. I think I might have climbed, I think I might have done a couple of short routes, or, you know, like single movements of climbs where I wasn't secured at all. It could be considered 5B-ish, maybe even 5C, if it's a very short section. Every once in a while, you'll find yourself scrambling to an anchor point or hiking, and then eventually the hike turns into a climb. Eventually, you're climbing, you know, like 3A, whatever, 4A. Eventually, you'll be climbing very low level. You're asking yourself, like, wow, is this considered free solo climbing because I'm not using ropes? But it's so easy, actually. You know, like, I'm using my hands a little bit, but it's very slanted. It's not hard at all. You can rest all the time. Take so much commitment, but you know, technically that's climbing without ropes. Technically that's free solo climbing. So yes, I have free solo climbed in the past. Let's just say level of difficulty that I have free solo climbed compared to the overall range of difficulties in climbing is a lot lower compared to you know, the distances or highlines that I've free soloed in highlining. You know, like, so I've definitely free solo climbed, but at a lot lower level than free solo highline. I hope that answers your question. I love this question. Ask me more stuff like that. It really does it for me. Thank you so much for the positive feedback. I'm getting a lot of respect comments. That's awesome. Thank you guys. I really hope you're enjoying this. I really hope you don't go out in free solo highline tomorrow. If you have to do it, fucking don't do it because of anything you heard today. Make sure it's what you want. I would much appreciate if you don't. Ja, alles Kenner Nummer 1. So someone is asking if my sister is watching, which makes me afraid that someone else well, someone asked me, is your sister watching? And he used her nickname. So this, I don't know who this is, but I feel like some other relative of mine is watching. Oh my god. Guys, it's official. I have a close family member watching. I don't even know which family member it is because he's used some weird nickname on YouTube. But this guy is asking if my sister's watching. So some close family members watching, and that will eventually bring me to some other questions that people have asked me about reactions from other people, you know, reactions from my family, specifically my mother. We'll get to those questions in a second. Spot is great. Yeah, Bongzilla was really funny. Mega Turim is asking me, do you prefer more people around you while free solo or few? And I absolutely prefer less people, 100%. So yeah, it's just that simple to watch. Less people means less distraction, less things I have to think, like, less people is better. Less people watching also means that there's less of a chance that you're acting for someone else, you know, that you're not being yourself. Okay, so maybe I should answer this other question at this point. Fits very well here, nicely to this topic of other people watching. Before my first free solo highline world record, which was in 2016, which was 72 meters over 400 meter tall waterfall. Before the first free solo world record, which was recorded and posted and whatnot. I have never let anyone record me. I've never let anyone film a free solo walk. I've never let anyone take pictures until then. And I have rarely talked about it. Some very few my very good friends, people I used to highline with, for example, Julian or Lucas, and some friends from the US, they knew and they saw me soloing, live. They were there. It was always small crowds, and I preferred to keep it kind of a secret. There were two reasons why I kept my free solo passion a secret for so long. Number one, I didn't want my parents, specifically my mother, to ever find out. Now she knows. She might even be watching, and it's okay. She has accepted it. This should answer Mia's question of what your mom thinks. She doesn't like it, but she's accepted it. That was the first reason why I didn't want it to be public. I didn't want my family to know yet. I didn't know how deep I would get into it and how much I would get addicted to it. I didn't really feel the need to tell anyone because I thought, okay, man, this is just temporary. I'm not going to tell anyone. Second reason why I didn't want anybody filming, or why I didn't tell many people back then, was I really, really wanted to make sure that I'm doing this just for myself. I had to prove to myself that the camera or other people's opinions mean absolutely nothing to me. It was super important to me. So for I think a little bit over 2 years, I had been free soloing. Back then, obviously a little bit shorter lines. I have gone through a free solo progression of 2 years without ever filming it or publishing it in any way. That was important to me because I really needed to prove to myself that it's what I want, and I don't do this for fame reasons at all. And when I walked the world record at Hunland Falls, filming it was spontaneous. I didn't tell people to film it. Well, they were there. I told them, okay, I'm not going to stop you from filming it. And then afterwards we lasered it and we were like, well, this is in fact a new free solo world record. I hadn't even thought about the topic of world record before, and I hadn't thought about filming, but when we had it filmed, it looked amazing, and I really felt that I needed to share this. I think this is answering a lot of other related similar questions too. But in general, even now that it's very public and that I talk about it, even now that I'm posting videos, and I'm obviously, I'm getting likes, I'm obviously, kind of benefiting from the views and everything, I still prefer less people or nobody watching. It's a personal thing. Free soloing is a personal thing. Jonas is leaving. Thanks for watching, man. Thank you for your questions. That was awesome. Hope you enjoyed. Alexandra is asking if I've tried bouldering. Yeah, man. I also like bouldering. I prefer rock climbing overall, especially obviously outside. Bouldering is awesome. I also like bouldering outside a lot more than inside. When I was living in Munich for a couple of years and studying in Munich, I went to a bouldering gym quite regularly. It's a nice sport. I still enjoy bouldering, but I don't do it as much anymore. What's my favorite place to highline in Germany? My favorite place to highline in Germany. Wow. I would say, it's the Alps. Those are our mountains. I live in the very southernmost part of Germany, southern Bavaria. So I have the Alps, like 20 minutes away from me. I'm actually going highlining tomorrow in the Alps. Small highline, but it's going to be beautiful. The highlines in the Alps, especially in the German Alps, they are all include hiking and a little bit of climbing or scrambling, and they are never very sheer. So we don't have cliffs. We have no French highlines in Germany where you can just drive up to a cliff, basically fall out of your car, and be next to a 400-meter tall, jumpable and highlineable cliff. Unfortunately, we don't have that. We have to put a little bit more work into rigging our highlines. That being said, the view, the panorama of the highlands in the Alps is gorgeous, is glorious. Let's just say my favorite place in Germany to highline in general is the Alps. My favorite highline that I did in Germany so far was actually pretty much on the border between Germany and Austria. It was this mountain called Wilder Kaiser. German viewers among me might know where this is. Wilder Kaiser The highline we did, my favorite highline in Germany was called Tor der Welten, which means gateway between worlds, kind of, because it was at the very top of a mountain range between Germany and Austria. Now I'm thinking I should find this. I should find this highline. Show you a little clip. Didn't solo this highline. It was 70 meters long back then. I wasn't nearly at that level of free soloing. I did it with my favorite highline buddies back then already, which were Lukas Irmler, Valentin Rapp, and Julian Mittermeier, all my favorite highline buddies from Germany. And whoop, that's too loud. Oh, I'm preparing the video of my favorite highline location in Germany. I'm preparing that right now. Oh my god, please load. I just want to give you a glimpse of it. Just one shot. While it's loading, I'm going to go ahead and answer another question that has gotten to me. What were the other questions? Oh my god. Well, the close family member that's watching is my brother. Man, don't free solo highline. Niemals. Das darfst du nicht. Yeah, I have a younger brother, but he doesn't highline. Right now there's no danger of him free soloing because he doesn't even highline yet, which is great. I love him so much. Alright, so I'm gonna switch back to sharing the screen. I'm just gonna show you a quick shot from a video that Valentin Rapp made of, I'd say, my favorite highline in Germany so far. Let's check it out. This highline, look at that. When we rigged this highline, that was in 2015. It was very foggy at first, and you couldn't really see the full glorious surrounding. Okay, here I am, my first send in the fog, just barely struggling across. It was hard. 2015, that's almost 5 years ago. It was hard for me back then to walk 70 meters of loose nylon with, like very bad vision. I'm gonna skip ahead to where you see actually what's going on. Because this highline is gorgeous because it's on the very top of this incredible mountain range. So gotta skip forward to where the sun comes in and the clouds break up and you can actually see what we're doing there. You can hear me talking. While this is loading, I'm gonna answer another question. There it is. Yeah, look at this. Look, chest bouncing back then. It was a trick, man. It was fucking great. I landed a chest bounce. Yay! Look at that. That's Lucas. Nice. Lucas back bouncing back then. Back then, in 2015, man, this highlight, this was big. Big Alpine highline project for the four of us. So beautiful. So beautiful. But you have to put a lot of effort into this. There's a lot of hiking and climbing involved, rappelling, drilling an alpine anchor. And scouting this, it took Julian Mittermeier, this highline legend that you see on the screen right here. It took him like several scouting sessions on skis in winter to find this place. This is Valentin Rapp, a friend of mine who also made this film. He's an amazing slackline and general outdoor filmmaker. Oh my god, I love remembering this highline. Yeah, that was good. Taking a look at this. Now let's switch back to the screen. Yeah, that's about the question, what's my favorite highline location in Germany. So, the Alps for sure, and this was, I think, my favorite highline in the Alps so far. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments on this specific highline, feel free to message me. Also, we're already over 1 hour into this live stream. I hope you're still enjoying it, and man, there are quite a few more questions that people had sent me beforehand, and quite a few more videos to watch. Sirio, if you have to leave, that's fine. Eventually, I'm just stay a little bit longer, and then I'll just finish with some videos and some of my own stories. But thank you so much, Sirio, for staying with us for over an hour now. can you let me know in the meantime? Can you let me know how many people are still watching, so I know that it makes sense at all? For those who are still watching, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're enjoying this. Let's move back to some of the questions that you guys have posted in the comments before this live stream. Nice. We still have 21 people watching. Such a joy. Really glad you're watching. I'm going to keep talking then. Some of these questions are so deep, like they're not easy to answer, you know, like why are you doing this? What if, blah, blah. Someone is messaging me, are you answering questions via Facebook? Yes, if you're friends with me on Facebook, just send me a question, and I'll try to answer it live. Megaturim is saying he hopes he will see me in Bosnia. Yeah, man, I hope I'll see you in Bosnia too. That would be amazing. I would love to travel Eastern Europe some more and Highland there. It would be beautiful. I hope it'll be possible this summer. Anyone who is leaving or who has left until now, I hope you've enjoyed until now, and hope to see you soon. By the way, if I'm not answering your question, you know, like you can always send me a personal message on Instagram or Facebook. I will answer. I answer everything that people message me. Just I apologize if I miss your question right now during a live stream. Oh, this is good. This is good. So, Elliot from the United States. This is something I prepared beforehand. This leads to another video. Before the live stream, a friend of mine, a former student of mine from the US, back when I was teaching German in the US, asked me what the scariest line and the scariest moment was during free solo. What was my scariest free solo line walk, and what was my scariest moment related to free soloing? And to answer this, I've prepared videos. Oh, my two scariest highlines that I've walked so far were the free solo highline world record of 110 meters in France. That was scary as fuck because it was the first time anyone has ever walked more than 100 meters, and the line was scary as fuck. We can watch it in a moment. But I want to show you a quick shot of a different highline. We've talked about Yosemite Valley, you know, where Dean Potter started free soloing the Lost Arrow Spire and everything. There is also a slightly longer highline on the Lost Arrow Spire, the 30-something meter highline. And this line, you know, 35 meters is not so long. Like that's well within my range of distance in highlining where I feel comfortable. Like 35 meters is nothing. However, this line is one of the scariest I've ever walked. Holy shit. And as you can see in the beginning, which I'm going to show you right now, my legs were a little bit shaky during the first steps. And the reason is that it's 500 meters high. Unfortunately, you can't see it because of the angle of the GoPro, which I placed myself. There's no one watching except for my GoPro. Lucas is somewhere on the cliff. Somewhere, I don't know. 500 meters below you is fucked. Like, you can start tracking. If you fall, you can track before you impact and die. Guaranteed. It's so high and so exposed. Just watch it. I don't need to hype this up. We're probably not going to watch the full video because it's 5 minutes long. Eventually I'm just going to skip to the end or to the middle or whatever. This is a 30, I think maybe 34, 35 meter long highline. Lost Arrow Spire. The penis shaped, the penis like shade in the background is the spire itself. That's the shadow of the spire, the morning sun on the spire coming from the valley. Unfortunately, the camera is pointing away from the spire at the wall. It couldn't be filmed otherwise because I couldn't put the camera in the wall. It was just me and the camera. I'm free soloing this line. It's 500 meters high. I've been wanting to do this so bad, free soloing on the Lost Arrow Spire, and especially free soloing the longer one, because while the short free solo, the short Line on Lost Arrow Spire had been soloed by, you know, a couple people, maybe almost 10 people. It's a classic. Everybody wants to walk it. People who free solo want to walk it. Free solo. I've been looking especially forward to free soloing the longer one at the Lost Arrow Spire because it had only been soloed by like 3 other people or so. And that, yeah, I just wanted to be one of the few people who soloed it. I needed it, to be honest. Okay, let's just skip the fucking end. It's so long. Blah blah blah. Already turning. So of course, full man, you gotta walk back. I sat down at the other end. Sat down for a moment, and then on the way back, of course, I looked down. I looked down into the abyss. This is a 500-meter drop. I know you can't see it, but it's fucking 500 meters high. That was the highest free solo I've done so far. So scary, and it was good. You know, that was kind of what made it feel good for me because it was so scary, both before and during and after. Will there be a scream? See, I'm putting the sound up. Man, free solo screams are the funkiest. I hope you heard that. Free solo victory screams. You know, Andy Lewis, Spencer Seabrook, everybody who has free solo, you all know what I'm talking about. They're the deepest, most natural, most primal kind of victory scream that you can have. I guess same for finishing a hard climbing route. You just can't help it. You have to scream from joy and relief. That was the scariest, rather short highline I've ever gotten on. And then let's move on to one of my favorite, but also one of my scariest moments. I'm gonna check in on the comments real quick. This is what's gonna happen in a minute. Original footage from the free solo world record. Check on the comments here in a second. Megatrum says, "No, I'm a girl." Well, I'm sorry I called you dude. Call everyone dude. That's awesome that you're a girl. I'm definitely at least as stoked to meet you in real life now. Okay, let's answer this intermediate question. That's good. Between these two videos, let's answer Augustine's question. Have you ever been pressured into a free solo? So I assume you mean pressured by someone else. Has anyone else ever pressured me into walking without a leash? Or, you know, like maybe a camera? Have you ever let someone else push me or a camera? I like to think that no. I can honestly not remember a situation where I felt pressured to free solo. I've walked away from a lot of free solo walks. I have stood in front of highlines and thought about soloing them and wanted to, but then I didn't do it because it didn't feel right. You know, even though I maybe could have. Maybe it could have been a cool video, whatever. I really tried to listen to my heart and my intuition in free soloing. So until now, I like to think that I've never been pressured into soloing. Of course, there's always subconscious pressure you might put on yourself, expectations, you know, highline world record, professional slackliner, blah blah blah. You know exactly what I mean. Let's face it, I have lived from slacklining the last couple of years, and a lot of people know me for my slackline achievement. I'm really happy and grateful for that. Maybe there is such a thing as subconscious pressure deep down that I want to, you know, keep doing crazy shit and maybe keep doing inspirational shit and stuff that has never been done before. That could be considered a kind of pressure. Maybe my own urge to always be happy, you know, which for me means to have adventures and push the limits of my comfort zone and, you know, have adrenaline rushes. Maybe that can be considered a kind of pressure that I subconsciously put on myself, which then would mean, which then could be answered by yes. But I've never been pressured to do a free solo by someone else. You know, like nobody. Not even when it started being not even when I started, you know, letting people film it, or when it has been filmed, you know, like 4 little videos here and there. nobody has ever told me, come on, are you gonna free solo? Like, come on, just free solo this. I know you can do it. Like, not even in the most subtle way. Nobody, I mean, people have told me things like, if you want to do it, I know you can do it. You know, like people have, let's say, people have made me feel good about my abilities, and those might be related to free soloing, you know, being able to walk and catch if necessary. But I don't think anyone has ever said anything to make me free solo, and that's not something you should do. That's not something anyone should ever do. It's such a personal thing. Don't ever pressure anyone to doing anything dangerous or that could be dangerous for them or that they wouldn't do for themselves. And you also shouldn't ever let anyone else pressure you into doing something that you don't really want deep down in your heart and that you really feel ready for. So that's about that question. So let's go to like my other scariest highline walk, and also the scariest and maybe like shakiest moments I've had any free solo highline walk. And this could be called the peak, not the end, but the peak of this live stream, because it's also my free solo highline world record of 110 meters, more than 200 meters high at Verdun Gorge in France. And some of you might have seen a video of this. It went, like somewhat viral, at least in the Slackline community, a couple years ago when I broke the world record. But of course, it was an edited video. Now I'm going to show you some original footage. Are you ready to shit your pants? I'm going to show you some original footage of the free solo highline world record. 110 meters long, 200 meters high. I'm gonna put the sound up on this because, despite I practiced this line many times, I felt safe. I really felt that I would catch if I had to. I felt absolutely fine. However, this line being 110 meters long and being at the location where it is, after starting to walk, we did get a little bit of wind. Not terrible, but there were some wind gusts, and you are now about to see what those wind gusts do to me in the heartbreak zone when I'm very close to the other end, very close to finishing and being super mega safe again and being out of this high stake, high responsibility situation. And I'm also that close to the world record, it's in reach. So that might have an effect on your mind. So let's just watch it, and then you can tear me apart and criticize me and tell me what you think.
Oh, come on!
I hope you can hear this. Those are some wind gusts. God damn it, man. I'm getting goosebumps from watching this. Nice. Sound is okay, I hear. Thank you. That's the heartbreak zone, You're definitely close to the anchor. Maybe 10-20 meters left. And I had walked this line like more than 10 times beforehand. It was super solid. But when you're free solo, man, it's hard to not be a little bit intimidated, or maybe to tense up for a moment at some point. Look at that. Oh no. So I scream a couple times. I don't scream nearly as much as Spencer. I definitely had my moments where I would say I was at the edge of my comfort zone. I didn't leave my comfort zone. I didn't shit my pants. I was completely, believe it or not, I was completely confident that I could catch the line at any point, especially when you go low. When you crouch lower during wind gusts or whatever, you're closer to the line. You can definitely catch if you stay aware. And I knew I could walk this line. I had walked it in similar wind conditions before. Knew I could do it. I just needed to stay focused and keep taking steps. keep breathing, as you can hear. What was I about to say? Oh, check this out. I'm wearing the same shirt. Oh, I'll show you in a moment. Camera is obviously not on.
Holy fucking shit!
Okay, I promise the original footage. We'll watch it till the end. Nobody has seen this before.
So geil, Digga.
Alter!
A little bit of emotion. Boom. Okay. So, let me know what you think. Let me know all the new questions that have arisen now. How did I get to this topic? Yeah, somebody asked me about scariest lines. Like, those were definitely some of the scariest moments. Let's say that was the closest I have come to catching the line. Any lower and I would have caught the line. And then it would have been over. I mean, the walk would have been over. Until this day, I've never caught during a solo. I've always fucking just walked it. I've caught on Swami walks. That's also someone else's questions. Have you ever fallen? No, I've never fallen on a free solo. I've caught on Swami walks. I've always finished every free solo that I started. This line, the 110 meter free solo record, was the closest that I've gotten to the edge of my comfort zone. It was pushing it. And of course it was. It was 110 meters. That was the first time anyone walked over 100 meters. It meant so much to me. There was obviously, there were definitely expectations of myself. Long story short, man, I did it. I wanted it really bad, so I kept chasing it, and I did it, and I'm still here, and I'm alive and happy. So let's just leave it at that and see what you guys got to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. I have one or two more videos waiting, and then we'll wrap it up. Now, for those who still watch, and for those who just watched these moments with me, I'm going to wait. I'm going to give you some time to leave your comments, and then Serial will send them to me. In the meantime, let's try to pick off some more of the questions that people sent me beforehand in the comments. Okay, so, man, I feel like it's time I have to address some of these deeper, longer questions. I'm going to try really hard to answer the deep, complex questions short and clear and efficiently. I'm going to try. Via, if you're still watching, Avia from Israel. Awesome highliner. You are. She's asked me, so she asked me what my mom thinks. I said it before. She doesn't like it, but she accepted it. Via asked, what goes through your head before taking the first step and before taking the last step on a free solo session? Basically, before the first step, it's the same. Before the first step and before the last step, ideally, everything that goes through my mind is stay fucking focused. Keep your arms up. Keep your balance. Just do what you gotta do. Breathe. There's no real external thoughts. I don't think about the moment after. I don't think about a fucking world record medal. I don't think about my girlfriend. I don't think about dying. All I think about is taking this very step. And that's how it has to be during a free solo walk. And then the next question, which is a hard one from Avia. She asked me if I ever think about what would happen to friends or people watching if they saw me die a free solo highland walk. And did I think of the consequences? How I would break these people's hearts, and how much it would hurt the people that are close to me if I die during free solo, especially if someone watches me die, because I have free solo in front of people. So do I think about that and that kind of responsibility that I have? So let's start by saying something first. Whenever I can, whenever the group is watching is close to the anchor, I tell them beforehand, man, if if you don't want to see this, please walk away. Or, if it's if it's a good friend of me that has rigged the line with me, for example, I'll ask them, do you feel okay if I free solo this line? And for God's sake, please be honest. If you're not okay with me free soloing this line right now, I'm not going to do it, Or, if it's some bystanders who happen to watch, I tell them, okay, like, if you don't like what you're seeing, please leave. Don't get nervous, don't come close to the anchor, don't do anything that might distract me. Just focus on your life, focus on my life, kind of thing. And I have to admit, it's pretty much like that in general. Free soloing is a personal thing, and it's my life, and in all honesty, you could consider this selfish, but I do not think very much about the other people when it comes to free soloing and the responsibility I have for them. Because I really don't think that's what matters in that moment. In that moment, I'm taking my life into my hands, going to do absolutely everything in my capabilities to be as safe as possible, and I know that I can do it. I'm not free soloing. I'm not free soloing because I think I could die. I'm free soloing because I know I won't die, because I know my abilities. And so I really don't put much energy into thinking about what I would do to other people if I ever screwed up. I realize that it is kind of a responsibility. It sucks, and I don't want people hurt. Also don't want to see any of my friends die. If I ever saw a friend of mine die doing something he loved, I would cry my eyes out, I would go to a guy's funeral, but I definitely wouldn't blame him for the pain he's causing me. Okay, so that's kind of the view I'm taking on this. It's kind of you can call this a selfish point of view, but I really think it's the only possible point of view for any extreme sport or dangerous sport. I bet you could ask someone like Alex Honnold and he would say something similar. Soloing is for yourself, and it's about yourself, and in that moment, nobody else matters, as hard as it sounds. Via also asked whether I'm not forcing people to be a part of this choice that I'm making. Am I forcing people into this free solo situation by doing it in front of them or forcing them to watch? Well, like I said, I really, really try to tell people beforehand to leave if they don't want to watch, or if they can't watch, and all I can do is be as safe as possible, and therefore not die, and therefore not traumatize anyone. And when it comes to posting videos about it, man, there's a lot of stuff of way scarier. There's videos of a lot scarier stuff all over the internet. I think it's really up to everyone's own responsibility of what they watch, what they consume in their life, what they let themselves be inspired by, and that's how I see it. So I don't think that when I free solo a highline that I'm forcing the situation onto anyone else. And whenever in the past, whenever I have free soloed on a line that someone else has rigged, I've asked them permission. If anything ever went wrong, if the fucking anchor came loose, then of course maybe someone will blame themselves afterwards. I ask people if they're comfortable beforehand. So any line that I have free soloed, I've gotten permission from riggers. And what else? And yeah, I walk the line with a leash many times beforehand, and I check the rig. And I am confident enough in my own abilities, both of rigging knowledge as well as walking, that I can really decide, okay, this is safe to get on without a leash right now. I hope this answers your questions, Avia. Love the deep, hard questions. So, anyone still watching, just don't be shy, just smack your questions right at me. I think we can probably still do another 20 minutes or so. Sirio, thank you so much. Our host, Sirio. Zao you're from Italy, right? Who's also an amazing highliner. Thank you for hosting this, and thank you for supporting me with the questions and everything. So anything you post, he will forward to me. Now is the time to go deep and also to criticize and, ask me questions where you think maybe I don't want to hear them. I swear I will answer your question right now. Right now you still have a chance to get me off guard, to kind of pull my pants down or whatever. So that was the 110 meters free solo. Yeah, I think I'm pretty much through my videos. So it's up to you. Let me know if you want to see one more video. Let's just make it another 15 or 20 minutes. I have a few more questions from before the live stream. Those were Avia's questions. Those were definitely the longest questions. My sister asked me, how do you feel about people telling you you are a bad role model because you free solo? Man, haters gonna hate is what I say. Fuck the haters. It's pretty much the same as what I just said. I think it's up to everyone to decide what they let themselves be inspired about. For children, children don't highline. Let's be serious here. Children don't highline, so I don't think they will be too influenced by this. Let's say highline beginners. I put disclaimers. I do talks like this. I talk about this openly. I tell people about the risks and the necessary mindset and necessary training. I try to do everything to make it as safe as possible for myself and for others. Therefore, if people still tell me that I'm a bad role model, then fuck them. Then almost every athlete could be considered a role model. Almost anyone who has taken a tiny bit of risk could be considered a bad role model. So, yeah, I don't see myself as a bad role model, in all honesty. Try really hard. My sister also asked me, how has yoga influenced your slacklining abilities? How has yoga influenced your slacklining abilities since you started practicing? Good question. Some of you might know that I love yoga. I've been practicing yoga on and off for 4 years. Last year I've been practicing it a lot. Right now I do it as much as I can, especially during this lockdown quarantine time. I put a lot more effort, a lot more energy and focus on yoga. I love it. I started yoga for therapeutic reasons, because to prevent injuries and also to treat certain injuries and tight parts of my body, imbalances in my body from highlining. And then I realized that, wow, the more yoga I did, the better I felt and the better I got at highlining. There's a big correlation between yoga practice and highline progression, 100%. You can ask Rafael Null, who one of my big both yoga and highline inspirations. Love it. And right now I try to do a lot of yoga postures on the highline. It's so much fun. All I can say is I love yoga almost as much as I love highlining. Nice. We're almost through the questions. I will almost let you guys back into freedom. Just kidding. You can leave any time. I really want to try to answer all the questions that people have made the effort of asking beforehand. Oh, nice. I almost forgot. This guy is messaging me. Ian Eisenberg. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Eisenberg, German name. Ian or Ian Eisenberg is asking me on Facebook, do you consider it free solo? Oh, fuck. Thank you for asking me this question. Thank you. Do you consider it free solo if there's a chance you might live if you fall? If not, what would you call this, for example, without a harness, 40 meters above water? Well, 40 meters above water is harsh, man. That's really fucking hard. You'll have to be a professional cliff diver to not die from 40 meters or to not get terribly injured. Remember the song earlier that was playing during Bongzilla, Sketchy Andy Lewis's Highline Walk? He was saying, if you fall and may not die, that's definitely not a free solo. I must admit, I feel the same about free soloing. I think I don't really like to call something free solo if there's a good chance of surviving. When I was asked about my first solo, I mentioned my first 20-meter high rock free solo walk. 20 meters of free fall onto hard ground. Before then, I had walked 10 to 15 meters above water, and before then, I had walked 6, 7, 8 meters high, midline free solo, and I never really and I really would call it free solo. To me, legitimate free solo will be one that will kill you if you don't catch. It sounds hard. I'm not advertising the danger in that, but to me, that's just the definition of free solo. I hope that answers your question. Thank you for this question. I really like it. Second question, and perhaps a little deeper. If you could give one piece of advice to someone who thinks they might be interested in free soloing, what would it be? Okay, here's my one piece of advice. Think about it some more, and then think about it some more, and definitely practice, good highlining with a leash. Walk so much with a leash. Practice your catching skills. Your catch must be perfect. You cannot whip unexpectedly on walking. I mean, trick highlining, that's something else. I take whippers when I freestyle highline. But if you walk a highline that's within your capabilities, let's say you can walk 100 meters, and that's your range, and of what you can do. And then you're walking a 50-meter line. You're whipping out of nowhere. You're whipping without strong wind or doing tricks. You're just whipping from walking because you lose control. I think you should absolutely not free solo. Your catch must be an instinct. The catch must come perfectly, without even you thinking about catching. That's the number one physical advice or requirement, I think. The catch must be perfect. Practice your catching. Second, you have to practice dealing with the pressure. So you should consider walking with a swanny belt beforehand or walking high over water, because even though that shit might hurt as hell, you wouldn't die. And then you can imagine what that does to your mind. You will definitely be like, whoa, man, I can't fall now. Like, if I fall now, it'll be terrible. It's not quite free solo yet. And then there was one more thing that I wanted to tell you. Yes. If you think you're ready for it, if you're thinking about free soloing, man, the first time, just don't film it, or don't let anyone watch. And don't tell anyone either. You have to make sure it's for yourself. And then, if you're standing in front of your first highline, and you're thinking, maybe this is the one I should free solo, maybe not, maybe I should try, just walk away from it. Don't do it that way. You will still have another chance. If you're not feeling it 100% coming to you, the first free solo experience coming to you, if you're not feeling it 100%, don't do it. Even 1% of doubt is too much, in my opinion. So that's the advice I can give you. And now I will also say the obligatory advice of a disclaimer: just don't fucking do it. Don't free solo. You get what I mean. Thanks for these questions, Ian. So I have some more live questions from Ethereal. Thanks for bearing with us. We're almost done. Let's answer for another 15 minutes, and then we all gotta get dinner or something, But I'm really stoked that people are watching and listening. It means a lot to me, and I hope I can educate and inspire and love you guys. Let's just say that at this point. Oh man, one of the homies, Axel Weber, is actually watching. Axel Weber from Germany, who recently landed the Almighty. I had the pleasure of highlining with him in Dresden between some cranes. Incredibly talented freestyle highliner. Oh man, you came too late, Axel. You're asking about blindfolded free solo. I already answered that in the beginning of the live stream. To sum it up, I don't like to do it myself. Blindfolded free soloing is not for me. Some people may do it or might have done it. I don't really know. I closed my eyes for 1 or 2 seconds. Interesting, but I like to enjoy the experience with all my senses. So blindfolded free soloing is not the next step for me. No, the next logical step. The next step in highlining, I think, right now is crazier tricks and more beautiful highline projects. Like high altitude, new continents, whatever, like crazy new projects. I think that's the next step in highlining. And then, of course, the freestyle highlining has only just begun. But if you're asking specifically what would the next step B, of pushing limits in free soloing, it's still at the distance, I would say. Because right now, what's 110 meters? That's nothing compared to, no, it's not nothing, but it's like 5% of the current Highline world record. So like 5% with of what we are walking with a leash. So I think the limits right now in soloing are still. The mental limits. We're deep in the mental limits. The ground is that far away from you, and there's so much air around you. Your fear of heights, your instinctive, this crazy feeling of whoa, this is insane. Like there's something wrong in this situation. I feel like that's already at the limit. So the next limit in free soloing would be to maintain that feeling and mindset for longer, to just balance longer distances. Alexander, one question from Serial. Could you tell why yoga can increase highline skill? Well, okay, I'm going to try to make it quick and efficient and try to be a good yoga teacher. Yoga increases awareness, both body awareness and mental and higher self-awareness. So you can feel your body better, and feeling your own highlining, balancing over highline is basically basically a dance. It's kind of a play between your body and the line. Your body does something, the line does something. They kind of dance together in this one combined movement. I think the better you can feel your own body, the better you can feel the line, and that's what yoga does. It increases body awareness. At the same time, it also increases your flexibility and strength and endurance. Depends on what kind of yoga you do. Do Ashtanga yoga, that definitely will increase your endurance and strength and flexibility. Those are all very good for highlining, especially for freestyle highlining. Some freestyle tricks require crazy flexibility. And what else was there about yoga? Yeah, take that for now. That's, I think, how yoga can increase highlining skill. I'm not the best slackline yogi at all. There are other people who are a lot deeper in yoga and have more yoga experience and could answer more questions about yoga and highlining. But I feel like I have figured out that yoga helps me in highlining, and I think it can help anyone in highlining and slacklining. It's beautiful. Yoga is such a joy. Then there was Alexander Slackline. Hi Friedi, which strength exercises do you recommend to prepare for free solo? Support from Serbia. So, once again, please don't solo. Especially not like right after watching this video. I don't want to be the guy who tells other people to free solo or how to free solo. I want to be the guy who makes you understand more about the nature of free soloing and about my experiences with free solo. You have to make your own experiences, draw your own conclusions. So don't really do any strength exercises beforehand. All I can say is that if you're very fit at highlining, physically fit on a highline, both in walking big distances, catching and remounting, maybe doing some tricks even, that's the kind of physical fitness you should have, at least. In general, when I'm not climbing or slacklining or doing yoga, I like to do pull-ups and push-ups and just anything with your own body weight. I don't touch external weights, I just practice with my own body weight, calisthenics. Someone who can give you amazing strength exercise is Bor from Russia, B-O-R, Bor from Russia. Maciej Boruch or something like that. You'll find it on Facebook. If you're more interested, write me a message. I'll send you a link to his profile. He can give you amazing workout plans specifically for slacklining and specifically for where you are at in slacklining. Next question. Has your first free solo changed you afterwards, and how, with regards to your mindset and relationships to others in your day-to-day life? Did you feel more free? Yes and no. It has changed me. A couple of years before, or a year or so before my first legit free solo, I was thinking I would never do that. It's crazy. It's not for me. Then I did it, and I realized, wow, I can do this. I want to do this. It feels amazing. I want to do it again. It has changed my perspective on soloing itself. I don't think I became a different person after my first free solo in day-to-day life. That being said, throughout my highlining progression, there was definitely a change in myself. I became more confident and more self-aware and self-responsible and just generally stronger and happier. But that's not only related to free soloing. It's a part of it. Free soloing definitely gave me some of the most amazing feeling of my life. But overall, slacklining just changes you for the better. It makes you stronger and more confident, more responsible, and it's just a general, very gradual, slow change I felt since I started slacklining. Not really like something, like I wasn't born, I wasn't a different person right after my first solo. Alex Pasco is asking, have subsequent free solos changed you? Well, yes, like I just said, overall progression changed me. Don't think I had one single incident that changed me a lot. It's a gradual thing. Change in your personality really only happens after incidents. It happens in the phases of reflections. It can even happen in dreams or whatever. So throughout time, I have changed. I have grown, I think, as a person, but never instantly after one free solo highline walk. So many questions. I'm happy, man. This is great. I love the interest from the community. Serial. Oh yeah. Okay. So let's talk about this later. Serial. Owen Knepp is asking, how did you start slacklining and how did you meet people in your local community? I got into slacklining through climbing. Some of my climbing buddies from high school took me on climbing trips, and on these climbing trips, they had very small little beginner slacklines between trees we would play on. We played on them. We had no clue. We had no, tutorial YouTube videos, but we liked it. We got hooked. I got addicted to the feeling of balance. I wanted to walk back and forth. Before slacklining, I had not only done rock climbing, but also parkour, free running, gymnastics, trampoline. So I was very stoked on the jumps, on the tricks, and the physical aspect of trick lining. I got hooked on that, and then only years later I started highlining. I was very lucky that I had some friends in that climbing community who also wanted to highline, so we set up our own first highline together. Our first highline was not textbook rigging. It was kind of scary looking back what we did 10 years ago, but we didn't really have, we didn't have anything to look at. We didn't have any mentors or anything on YouTube that we could look on 10 years ago. However, we did our best experience to stay safe. We used our climbing knowledge and experience, and I had some people to start with. Then I was very lucky to meet. So it's good to have a slackline community. It's good to have people that you can go slackline with, and I was even luckier to find people that are not only people that I could slackline with, but people who were just as stoked, and I think in many ways also similarly talented. So some of you might know that I spent the last years a lot highlining a lot with Lukas Imler and Julian Mittermeier, and those are both amazing. There are so many more. I highlined with Alex Schultz, Bia Noble, Spencer Sieber. I highlighted with so many people who inspired me and pushed me. But I am lucky to live close to some people that are just as addicted to highlining as me, and those are, if I have to narrow it down, it would be Lucas and Julian and some others. But we really pushed ourselves together, especially in the last years, and especially getting into the longer distances, the 100 meters plus, and the first freestyle tricks. It's huge. I think it makes a huge difference. Having people that are close to your level, so there's always maybe a little bit of healthy, very friendly competition, and then you can just push together. You're interested in the same, you're challenging each other, and you're inspiring each other. You want to rig the same kind of lines. That's awesome. So if you're fortunate enough to find people like that, similar to your level and similar to your passion, that's a great way to get deeper into slacklining and highlining. Oh, it's so cute. My sister, because I just said that the slacklining changed me, my sister just said, as your sister, I can say that you only changed for the best. That's super sweet. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. It means the world to me. That's great. I love you so much. Then, Blake Sweet asking, how has free solo affected your relationship with fear? How does that translate to your normal fear? Okay, so yeah, I would say I think I'm overall. I think I have less fear in my life now, years later, and years that I've been highlining and also free solo highlining. I don't really feel scared very much. If I do, it's more like an abstract kind of fear. Like I said earlier, fear of missing out, fear of not being happy. Yeah, I think slacklining, highlining, free solo highlining has taught me to handle my fears, to be rational, to not get frozen, paralyzed with fear, to not let fear take over, but rather to control my fear, to think about it, to use this subtle fear, this adrenaline, this subtle nervousness, to sharpen my senses, to stay very alert. Okay, I need to be in the moment, no distraction. I've learned how to use this to increase my abilities, to channel my fear into something good. At the same time, I've also learned when it's completely unnecessary to be scared, or like sometimes fear it won't help you. Sometimes fear is good; it'll protect you, it'll help you to be more alert, or to try harder. Sometimes fear is just not helpful at all, and it'll paralyze you, and it makes no sense. It'll just make you feel bad. I think through highlining, and especially free solo highlining, I have learned more to differentiate between that good fear and that bad fear. I hope this answers your question. Oh, Drake is the guy from Lublin. Yeah, you're welcome. I gave this guy some ice cream in Lublin. God damn it, I wish I had some ice cream now. By the way, if you watched, I don't know why I only just thought of this now, if you watched the free solo world record video of 110 meters earlier, yeah, I'm wearing the same shirt today, probably sponsored by Balance Community. Same shirt you saw in that video earlier, just to prove that I'm the guy that you saw in that video. This is amazing. I did not think that we would have hours full of questions. Not even for once we were lacking anything to talk about. Let's say what Ian is saying. He's saying, thank you so much for your thoughtful responses. Man, you're so welcome. This is what I'm here for. This is what I promised to do. And even after this live stream, I will be there for the questions from the Slackline community, just like I think other Slackliners will be there for me if I ever ask them anything. This is what Slackline community is about. It's about interaction. And at this point, I would like to say big thank you to the ISA for granting me this stage, this opportunity of interaction with the Slackline community about a, let's admit it, very highly controversial topic, but it is something that should be talked about because it exists, so better to talk about it than not to talk about it. Thank you for the community, everybody, for posting your questions. And let's see. I really want Serial I really want us all to, have dinner and be free soon. I mean, the last lockdown series talk was about 1 hour long. By the way, the last lockdown series talk was from Lucas, and it's online, of course. It's about the Jedi tricks, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, super amazing talk that he did on the development of Jedi tricks and freestyle highlining. It's beautiful. You can watch it. Also, if you haven't seen if you've come late or had to leave early on this live stream, it will be posted. You can watch the full 2-hour live stream online. And any questions left that I'm not answering now or that I have missed scrolling through all the comments, I promise, message me and I will answer them in person or post them underneath, like whatever. I will answer them somehow. I do think we should get to an end at this point. I'm also out of tea, so my throat is getting dry. Check this out. My teacup is from the Urban Highline Festival. Just saying, I just realized that. I'm out of tea, so my mouth is getting kind of dry. We have been doing this live stream for 2 hours now. Serial, my host, I'm getting video calls from other friends who want to talk to me about other things. Serial has doing this for 2 hours. He's been my host. Let's finish with one more video, okay? If you don't mind, I will switch on to one more video because in the beginning I said the first one I ever saw free solo and highline was Potter on the Lost Arrow Spire. And then years later, I wanted to become also one of the people who walk the line. I already showed you the long Lost Arrow Spire free solo walk. I want to show you the free solo on the classic original free solo Lost Arrow Spire. I would like to finish with that and answer other questions in personal conversation or thread or personal messages, whatever. I've been loving this so much, but I think we need to give our host, myself, some rest soon. So let's finish with this video, and I promise I will answer all subsequent questions in personal messages. Let's watch this. Ba-boom! No, wait, we want to watch from the beginning. Oh no. Don't worry, it should load fast. So here I am on the Lost Arrow Spire. I'm starting from the spire to the wall. I'm wearing a nice Balanced Community shirt, once again, the green version of what I'm wearing now. Sorry that I'm talking so much during this video. I don't really think it has any sound. And therefore, oh, it has sound. You hear a little bit of wind in the camera. Look at that. The valley bottom. The bottom of Yosemite Valley is 1,000 meters below you when you're on the Lost Arrow Spire. So the straight rock fall on this high line, it might only be like, I don't know, 100 meters or 50 meters or so. But then it immediately drops down for almost 1,000 meters. So that's the perceived exposure. This guy that you just saw there on the spire is Lukas Irmler. He was there and witnessed. And behind him is sitting Ryan Jenks. Those are both good friends of mine and highliners who are doing a lot for the community. Man, I think I'm whistling at this point. I think I might have been whistling in that moment when I was walking through the middle on that walk. At this point, one last question from myself to Sirio as I'm standing in exposure on this line. Is there anything important that I've missed? I think he'll be happy to finally, be done with this. I'm gonna be happy to be done with this, and I would, if there's a lot of interest in these kind of talks, I'm happy to do it again. Let's do something like this again, maybe to a different channel, maybe the same. I love your questions and your engagement. Don't be scared to ask me about anything Slackline related, not just free soloing. I don't want to be minimized to the guy who only free solos. I do other things too, slacklining, and I love all forms of slacklining. But free solo might be the topic where I might be one of the people who has the most experience to talk about.
Ah, yes!
That's what it feels like in the end. Alright, time to say goodbye. Guys, I love you so much. It's been 2 hours of live stream. Here's to those guys who stayed from the beginning to the end. That's very impressive. I hope you had some food in the meantime or something. Thank you so much for your questions. This is the last time I'll say this. Don't feel free to message me personally. I'm a Slackliner just like you guys. We're all Slackliners. We can talk with each other. And if there's more interested in this kind of stuff, we can do it again. Thank you, Sirio, for hosting and helping me with the technical issues. Thanks, everybody, for posting questions. Thanks to my family for supporting and loving me anyway. And big thanks to the ISA, the International Slackline Association, for doing this lockdown series, which I think is so educational and so inspirational. And there will be many more amazing episodes. Check out the next episodes on the ISA Facebook and Instagram page. Yeah, enjoy your Slack life, your personal growth, wherever it might take you, but don't free solo. Goodbye, guys. I love you so much.